My hands were steady, even though nothing inside me was. The ultrasound photo lay face down on the counter of my small bakery kitchen. Flour dusted, still warm from the printer, and full of the kind of truth that could rip a person open. I stared at the blank back of it, willing myself not to flip it over, not to see the tiny bean-shaped shadow inside my womb. 6 weeks. Too early to be real. Too soon to feel anything except fear. But I felt everything. The mixer hummed behind me, kneading dough for the morning brioche. Sugar crackled under the high heat of the oven. The smell of caramelized butter should have been comforting, familiar. Instead, it made my stomach twist. The bell above the front door chimed, carrying through the small bakery like a warning. Lena, a voice called. My best friend, Tasha. Where are you? I brought you that ginger to you. She stepped into the kitchen and froze. The ultrasound was still in my hand. Oh God. Lena, she whispered, her eyes widening. Is that? I don't want to talk about it. I snapped too quickly, too sharply. Her gaze dropped to my shaking fingers. You're pregnant. Don't say it out loud, I whispered, because saying it made it real. Tasha gently took the ultrasound from my hand and turned it over. The picture stared back at both of us. The tiny, barely formed start of a life. My life changing in 6 centimeters of grainy black and white. Who? She whispered. But I already knew she knew, because there was only one person it could be. And he was the last man on earth who should ever have been in my bed. I pressed my palms flat on the cold metal counter. It doesn't matter who the father is. I'll take care of it. Alone. Tasha's expression tightened. Lena, you can't hide something like this forever. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Watch me. Before she could argue, the bell at the front door chimed again, this time deeper, sharper, like someone entering with authority. Heavy footsteps crossed the floor. And then his voice hit me like a punch. Is Elena Harper here? My heart stopped. Tasha stiffened. Lena, that sounds like... I know exactly who that is, I whispered. And I wasn't ready. Not for him. Not for what he meant. Not for the truth I was trying desperately to bury. I wiped my hands on my apron and forced myself to step out of the kitchen. And there he was, Dominic Caruso, the Mafia Don whose name made entire neighborhoods go silent, the man whose presence felt like gravity itself, the man I'd spent one reckless night with, one stormy night 3 months ago when he'd walked into my bakery minutes before closing time, dripping rainwater and danger. His dark suit was immaculate. His black hair slicked back. His gray eyes, those cold, intelligent eyes, locked onto me the second I appeared. My pulse tripped over itself. He noticed everything. He always did. Lena, he said quietly. Hearing my name in his voice nearly knocked the breath out of me. You shouldn't be here, I whispered. He stepped closer. You disappeared. I didn't disappear. I went back to my life. You should go back to yours. His jaw tightened. I was looking for you. Why? I couldn't help the bitterness that rose in my voice. You don't even know me. His gaze flickered, just for a split second. A flash of something almost human. Then it was gone. You left before I woke, he said. You were never supposed to wake up next to me. A muscle ticked in his jaw. Then his eyes dropped to the counter behind me, the metal surface where the ultrasound still lay under Tasha's hand. He stilled. I felt the air shift, sharp and electric. Move, he said. Tasha took a step back, her throat bobbing. Dominic picked up the ultrasound photo with 2 fingers. My stomach dropped to my knees. Don't, I breathed. Please, put it down. He didn't. He studied it. Every angle, every number, the date, the gestational age. 6 weeks. His eyes rose to mine. And in that moment, everything inside him changed. Whose is it? He asked softly. My throat burned. It doesn't matter. He stepped closer, holding the ultrasound between us like evidence. Is it mine? I forced my voice not to shake. Leave, Dominic. He didn't blink. Answer me. I'm not doing this with you. He took another step, closing the distance until his cologne, dark, woodsy, undeniably him, wrapped around me like a memory I didn't want. Lena, he said, voice low, dangerous. Is this my child? Tasha whispered, Lena, tell him. I swallowed hard. I'd already destroyed one ultrasound that morning. I should have destroyed this one too. Yes, I whispered. It's yours. Silence hit the room like a weapon. Dominic's chest rose and fell once, slowly, like he was absorbing a blow. Then his expression shifted into something cold, purposeful, absolute. You tried to hide this from me, he said softly. I didn't owe you anything, I shot back. You owe our child everything. It's my body, my choice, and my blood. His voice turned into steel, which means I will be involved. No, I whispered. You don't get to waltz into my life because of one night. You're carrying my heir, Elena. My breath caught. Don't call it that. Don't act like this is some mafia transaction. His gaze darkened. It's not a transaction. It's a responsibility. No, I said again. You don't get to decide anything. Not for me. Not for this baby. He lowered the ultrasound and looked at it one more time, really looked at it, then tucked it carefully inside his jacket pocket. Give that back, I demanded. No. Dominic. You tore up the first one. His voice was quiet but terrifying. You won't be destroying this. I don't want you in my life. But I am in your life, he said calmly, stepping closer until I had to tilt my head to look up at him. And I will protect what is mine. My heart slammed against my ribs. Don't talk like that. His eyes softened, only barely. You think I'm here because of obligation? I don't know why you're here. He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. I came because I couldn't stop thinking about you. The words froze me, completely. But before I could speak, the bakery door slammed open. Two men, strangers, rough-looking, armed, walked in. Tasha gasped. Dominic moved instantly, placing himself in front of me. The men smirked. Caruso, one said. We finally found you. Dominic's hand went to the gun tucked under his jacket. Tasha, I whispered. Run. She grabbed her phone and disappeared into the kitchen. Dominic turned his head slightly toward me. Stay behind me. I didn't breathe. We're not here for you, the man closest to us said. We're here for her. My blood went cold. For me. I choked out. The second man pulled out a phone and held up the screen. An image of me leaving the clinic that morning. Someone had followed me, watched me, tracked me. Dominic, I whispered, terror flooding my veins. His eyes flicked to the screen, and something inside him snapped. He stepped forward, voiced a quiet threat. If you touch her. We don't want her, the man said. We want what she's carrying. My breath vanished. Dominic's face turned to ice. No one, he said softly, touches my child. The next few seconds were chaos. Gunshots, shattering glass, Dominic grabbing me, pulling me into his chest, shielding me with his entire body. The world blurred into noise and smoke and terror. Then, silence. The men were unconscious on the floor. Dominic's guards, now appearing out of nowhere, dragged them out the door. I was shaking uncontrollably. Dominic turned to me, cupping my face in his hands. You're coming with me, he said, voice dark and protective. No, I breathed. Yes, he said. Your life just changed, Elena. And I am not letting anything happen to you or our child. His thumb brushed my cheek. And for the first time since I'd seen that ultrasound, I didn't feel alone. I didn't realize I was still shaking until Dominic's hand closed firmly around mine and pulled me out of the ruined bakery. The morning sun stabbed my eyes, bright and indifferent, as if the world hadn't almost collapsed around me minutes ago. My shop, I whispered, staring back at the shattered front windows, the bullet holes, the flour drifting like smoke in the air. I'll fix it, Dominic said. You can't fix this, I snapped, my voice cracking. His jaw tightened. I can fix anything. I hated that part of me believed him. A black SUV pulled up to the curb, tires screeching. Two men stepped out, broad-shouldered, dressed in black, fully armed. One opened the back door. Dominic didn't ask. He guided me inside, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I jerked my hand away. Do not manhandle me. His eyes dropped to my trembling fingers. I'm not manhandling you, Lena. I'm keeping you alive. I wanted to argue. I really did. But the image of that man holding up the photo, the clinic photo of me, still burned in my mind. Someone was watching me. Someone knew I was pregnant. Someone wanted the baby. My baby. The moment I sat in the back seat, I felt the weight of everything collapse over me. The reality, the danger, the impossible situation. Dominic slid in beside me. The door slammed shut. The locks clicked. We were sealed in together. His presence was overwhelming. Heat, power, control. He didn't even have to touch me for my body to react to him. His cologne wrapped around me, warm and sharp. My pulse wouldn't settle. The SUV peeled away from the bakery. What happened back there? I whispered. He leaned back, eyes fixed on the road ahead. Someone's been following you. Because of you. Because of the baby, he corrected softly. My enemies know I would protect my heir with my life. I shuddered. Don't call it that. It's not a pawn in your mafia games. His eyes slid to mine, slow, intense. I never said it was. But if anyone threatens our child, they become my enemy. My breath caught. Why did he sound sincere? I looked away from him. It's too early. It's just cells. It's barely anything. His voice dropped. It's ours. My heart lurched. Dominic, nothing happens to you. His tone hardened. Nothing happens to this baby. I swear it. Something inside me broke open. Fear, relief, confusion. I didn't know what to do with any of it. I pressed my palm to my stomach, even though it was still flat enough for my apron to hide it. The truth was barely real yet, just a flicker on a screen, a heartbeat weeks away. But someone wanted to kill it. And Dominic was the only person between us and that threat. The realization terrified me more than the gunman had. I wasn't safe anywhere, not at work, not at home. And now I was trapped with the one man I tried so hard to avoid. Where are we going? I whispered. My house. No. Yes. I said no. I wasn't asking. I snapped my head toward him. Dominic, you don't get to control where I live. He studied me in silence for a moment, his eyes a storm of frustration and something else, something deeper. You're carrying my child, he said quietly. Every enemy I've ever made will want to use that against me. I'm bringing you someplace they can't reach. And I'm supposed to trust you? He didn't hesitate. Yes. I scoffed. We barely know each other. His jaw flexed. You think knowing each other more would change anything I'm doing right now? The SUV slowed as we took a turn toward the wealthy outskirts of the city. Tall gates, security cameras, long driveways hidden behind iron fences. I pushed my hand through my hair. Dominic, I don't want to live under mafia protection. I want a normal pregnancy, a normal life. He turned fully toward me, resting one elbow on the leather seat. You lost the chance for normal the moment you slept with the Mafia Don. The words punched me in the chest. You say that like I knew who you were, I whispered. He stilled. What? He asked, voice low. I didn't know who you were that night. His brows pulled together. You're lying. I shook my head. I don't keep up with mafia politics. His eyes hardened. Everyone in this city knows me. I didn't, I said softly. Silence. Heavy silence. His gaze swept over me, my face, my shaking hands, the rising flood of emotion I couldn't contain. Something in him shifted, softened. You didn't know, he murmured, not as a question. No. Then why didn't you leave when I told you my name? I swallowed. Because you didn't tell me your last name. Or your world. He went very still. And now that you know, he said quietly, are you afraid of me? I thought about the men in the bakery. The gunshots. The way he'd shielded me with his body without hesitation. Yes, I admitted. But not because I think you'll hurt me. He waited. I'm afraid, I whispered, because you could destroy my life without even meaning to. He didn't respond. He didn't have to. The SUV slowed, turning into a long, private driveway surrounded by stone walls and thick trees. The gate opened automatically. Cameras followed us. I stared. Dominic, this is a fortress. That's the point. We pulled up to a multi-winged mansion, elegant but intimidating, guarded by men who instantly stood straighter at his arrival. The moment the SUV stopped, a guard opened my door. I froze. Dominic stepped out first, then held out his hand for me. I can get out myself, I muttered. I know, he said calmly, but you don't have to. Something about those words, simple, steady, quiet, almost made my eyes burn. I slid out of the car. The house loomed above me like a cathedral built for secrets. I crossed my arms. How long am I staying here? As long as necessary. No. Yes. Dominic. You're not safe out there, he said, stepping closer, voice low enough only I could hear. Not after this morning. Not with what you're carrying. I hate when you talk like that, I whispered. He tilted his head. Like what? Like the baby belongs to the Mafia more than it belongs to me. His expression changed, sharpened, softened, and then he did something I didn't expect. He reached out and gently, so gently I almost didn't feel it, placed his palm against my stomach. My breath hitched. His voice dropped to a whisper. Nothing belongs to the Mafia. Not you. Not our child. Not this family. His thumb brushed my shirt. This belongs to us. A tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. He noticed. His jaw tightened like it physically pained him to see me cry. Come inside, he said quietly. I promise, Lena, you will be safe here. I should have walked away. I should have demanded to go home. I should have fought harder. But I didn't, because for the first time since I saw that ultrasound, I felt protected. Not by the walls, not by the guards, not by the mansion, by him. Dominic guided me through the front doors, and my life changed forever. If the outside of Dominic's mansion looked like a fortress, the inside felt like a world I didn't belong to. High ceilings, marble floors, dark wood trim that smelled faintly of cedar. A grand staircase curved upward like something from a historic estate. Everything was polished, elegant, expensive, and silent. Too silent. My footsteps echoed more than they should have. The chandelier overhead cast a soft golden glow, but it didn't warm me. My pulse was still racing from the sudden attack, the ultrasound discovery, the shock of being here. What am I doing? Why am I inside the home of a Mafia Don? Why did I let him bring me here? Dominic walked slightly ahead of me, hands in his pockets, posture relaxed, but alert. He didn't look at me, but he was aware of every move I made. His house absorbed him like it had been built around him, commanding, shadowed, undeniably powerful. A woman appeared from a side hall, middle-aged, wearing a dark suit. Sharp eyes, professional demeanor. Signora Elena, she said with a gentle nod. Welcome. I'm Mara, the house manager. Anything you need, you come to me. I blinked. House manager? I don't need. Dominic cut me off. She needs everything. Set up the East guest suite and send someone to her apartment to pack her belongings. My jaw dropped. Excuse me. Dominic finally turned to face me. You're not going back there. You can't just kidnap me into luxury. He didn't react. This isn't kidnapping. It's protection. Against enemies you made. He stepped closer, his expression calm but firm. You were targeted because of the baby, not because of anything you did. That changes everything. I opened my mouth to argue, but Mara spoke gently. It's safer for you here, Signora. Truly. I hated that everyone around him spoke with such quiet confidence. Like disagreeing with Dominic Caruso was impossible. I'm not staying permanently, I muttered. Of course not, Mara said. Only until the threats are neutralized. Dominic's subtle smirk said otherwise. Mara gestured lightly. May I show you to your room? I exhaled sharply. Fine. She led me upstairs while Dominic followed behind us, but with the distance of someone trying not to intimidate me. Not that it worked. The East Wing was quiet, lined with dark framed photos, old family portraits, black and white snapshots of men who looked equally stern and dangerous. Generations of Carusas, a legacy built on crime and power. At the end of the hall, Mara opened double doors into a large bedroom. It was stunning. A four-poster bed draped in white linen, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a garden, a private balcony, a fireplace, a sofa, soft rugs, a bathroom with a marble tub that could fit 5 people. My mouth fell open despite myself. This is beautiful. Mara smiled warmly. I chose this suite because it gets morning sun. Good for expecting mothers. I froze. The words hit me like a physical shove. Expecting mother. The sound of it wrapped around me like a reminder that this was real. That I wasn't just scared and confused. I was pregnant. Pregnant with his child. My hand drifted unconsciously to my stomach. Mara noticed and softened even more. If you need prenatal vitamins, foods you can tolerate, Anything for nausea. Please tell me. I nodded weakly. Thank you. I'll leave you to rest. She walked out gracefully. The door shut. A quiet sigh escaped me until I sensed him in the doorway. Dominic, watching me, measuring every breath I took. The room suddenly felt too small. You okay? He asked softly. No, I whispered. None of this is okay. He stepped inside but didn't come too close. Tell me what you need. I need my life back. His jaw clenched. You'll have it. Once you're safe. I don't want your protection. You have it anyway. His certainty infuriated me. I didn't ask for a bodyguard. You're not getting one bodyguard, he said. You're getting my entire security force. I laughed bitterly. That's not comforting. You weren't safe this morning, he reminded me. You weren't safe yesterday. You won't be safe tomorrow if you leave. His voice barely rose, yet the weight of it hit me hard. And you, I said quietly, can't fix everything with guns and threats. His eyes dipped. I know. His honesty startled me. I sank onto the edge of the bed, rubbing my temples. This is too much. Too fast. I don't know how to deal with this. Dominic finally moved closer, sitting beside me, leaving a careful, respectful gap between us. But his presence still filled the room. I know today was a lot, he said, but I'm not your enemy. No, I whispered. You're just the man who turned my life upside down. Silence. He glanced at my stomach again, almost unconsciously. When did you find out? He asked quietly. This morning. You went alone. Yes. Why? Because I didn't have anyone to go with. I swallowed. And because the father wasn't supposed to matter. His expression shifted. Pain? Regret? I couldn't tell. I should have known sooner, he said softly. It wouldn't have changed anything. He turned fully toward me. It would have changed everything. I looked away. I didn't want to trap you, or force you into something you didn't want. You didn't force anything, he murmured. I laughed weakly. We barely know each other. One night doesn't make us anything. He considered that. No, he said. But this baby does. I felt my throat tighten. Dominic, I'm terrified. He inhaled slowly, deliberately. You're not alone. His hand reached out, tentative, almost hesitant, and rested on top of mine. He'd shot through me. Comfort. Danger. Everything tangled together. You think I won't protect you? He asked. I think you'll get me killed, I whispered. He froze. I covered my mouth with my hand. I didn't mean, I just meant. No, he shook his head. You're right. Being near me is dangerous. He stood slowly, stepping back. But being away from me is worse. Before I could respond, the door swung open. A man rushed in, breathless. Boss, there's movement. 2 cars circling the perimeter. Same men from this morning. My blood went ice cold. Dominic's entire demeanor shifted. His softness evaporated, replaced with lethal focus. How long? He asked. Just spotted them. They're probing the gates. Dominic turned to me. His voice dropped to a dark, dangerous whisper. This is why you can't leave. Dominic. No one, he growled, is taking my child. He looked at the guard. Double patrol. Lock down the east wing. No one gets near her. The guard rushed out. Dominic stepped toward me again. Pack what you need, he said. Why? My voice trembled. Because, he said, eyes blazing with protective fury, I'm moving you to the safest room in the entire estate. And where is that? He held my gaze. My room. My heart slammed into my ribs. Dominic, no. It isn't a request. Panic and heat twisted inside me. I don't want to stay in your room. You will. Because tonight, someone tried to breach my outer perimeter. Cold fear rippled through my chest. And tomorrow, he continued, voice low, they might try to breach the house itself. He stepped close enough that I could feel the warmth of his breath. And when that happens, I want you where I can reach you. I swallowed. This is insane. No, he whispered. It's necessary. His hand brushed my cheek. Gentle, grounding. You're carrying something I never thought I'd have, he murmured. And I will not lose you. Either of you. Before I could respond, he pressed a soft kiss to my forehead. It wasn't a claim. It wasn't seductive. It wasn't controlling. It was a promise. Pack your things, Lena, he said quietly. You're staying with me. He walked out of the room with the stride of a man ready to go to war. and I realized war was exactly what was coming. I stood frozen long after Dominic left the room. My pulse hammered against my ribs, and the air in the lavish suite suddenly felt too tight, too thin, too sharp. His room. He wanted me in his room. Not because of desire, not because of romance, but because the safest place in this house was next to him. The reality of that sent a tremor through me. I looked around the beautiful suite. The sunlight, the delicate fabrics, the flowers Mara had placed on the nightstand. All of it felt suddenly fragile, temporary, like a dream that would dissolve the moment danger touched it. A knock sounded on the door. I jumped. It was Mara. Her expression was lined with concern, but she kept her voice soft. "Signora Elena, the boss asked me to help you pack." "I don't have much," I whispered. "That makes it easier." She offered a gentle smile. "Take only the essentials for now." I followed her into the closet, where she began gathering a few folded clothes the guards had already retrieved from my apartment. I noticed how calmly she moved, efficient but empathetic, like she'd done this before for women who found themselves entangled in the Caruso world. "Is this normal?" I whispered. "People trying to breach the estate?" She paused, then spoke carefully. "Not usually, but when word spreads that the Don has an heir," she swallowed. "Some people see opportunity, others see weakness." My heart sank. "Weakness? You and the baby make him vulnerable," she said quietly. "Which means some enemies will want to target you, to hurt him." A chill ran down my spine. Mara gently touched my arm. "But hear me. There is no safer place on earth than Dominic's room. No one can reach you there." I nodded weakly, even though my stomach twisted with dread and something I couldn't name. Fear, maybe, or the weight of a future I never planned for. We finished packing a small bag. Phone charger, loose clothes, my prenatal vitamins, and the ultrasound printed from earlier that Dominic hadn't confiscated. I held that picture for a long moment. A small ghost of a life. An entire future compressed into a blurry shape. My baby. Our baby. When I handed the picture to Mara to tuck into the bag, she paused. "You are strong," she said softly. "You'll need that." I swallowed hard. A guard appeared at the door. "The boss is ready for her." Mara squeezed my shoulder. "Come, I'll walk you." We went down the hall, my heart pounding harder with every step. The East Wing was eerily quiet, guards posted at intervals, eyes sharp, hands near their weapons. A lockdown had begun. As we reached the main corridor, I saw Dominic speaking with 3 men, his top guards. His posture was rigid, his voice low and commanding. "No blind spots," he said. "Perimeter teams rotate every 15 minutes. Double reinforcement on the south side." The men nodded. "Anyone without clearance gets detained." "Understood, boss." "And if anyone tries to get near her?" Dominic asked. The guard answered instantly. "We shoot first. Ask later." My stomach dropped. Dominic spotted me. His expression softened just slightly, enough that his men immediately stepped back to give him space. He walked over. "You ready?" he asked. "No." "Yes." I didn't know, but I nodded anyway. He took my bag from Mara himself, not handing it to a guard, not delegating it. His fingers brushed mine as he did, and something warm and terrifying shot through me. "Follow me," he said quietly. His room was in the West Wing, another long hallway, guarded and monitored, though somehow quieter, more private. When he opened the door for me, I stepped inside and instantly forgot how to breathe. His room was massive, larger than my entire apartment. A king-size bed with dark linens, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights, a fireplace, shelves of leather-bound books, a seating area, a private terrace. But what struck me most wasn't the size. It was the feel. This room was him. Dark, ordered, powerful, carrying the quiet gravity of a life lived in shadows. "You'll sleep here," he said. "It's the safest place. Only I and 2 guards know the access code." "Where will you sleep?" I asked quietly. His eyes flickered, surprised. "Here, on the sofa, if it makes you more comfortable." "It doesn't bother you?" I whispered. "Having me here?" He shook his head. "No." I didn't know what to say to that. He set my bag down and walked toward a panel on the wall, placing his hand on it. A soft beep sounded. This room goes into protection mode at night. The windows darkened automatically. The doors clicked into place with heavy internal bolts. Metal shutters slid silently down behind the curtains. My heart raced. Is this normal? No, he said. But you're not normal. Not anymore. What does that mean? I whispered. He turned to me fully. You're carrying the first Caruso heir in 2 generations, he said softly. There is nothing normal about that. I sank onto the edge of the bed, overwhelmed. He moved slowly toward me, as if afraid to trigger my fear again. Lena, he said quietly, sitting beside me. Talk to me. About what? My voice cracked. About how I woke up this morning thinking I'd just go to work, bake pastries, live my life. And now I'm here. I gestured around wildly, in your fortress, guarded by armed men, pregnant with a Mafia Don's baby, while assassins circle the property. He didn't flinch at the word assassins. That scared me even more. I know this is a lot, he said gently. A lot. I laughed, but it shook. My entire life exploded. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I'm trying to help you. You're trying to control me. Yes, he said simply. Because if I don't, someone will kill you. Silence slammed between us. His honesty was brutal, raw, painfully real. I looked down at my trembling hands. I didn't ask for your protection. He slowly reached out, taking my hand in his warm, calloused fingers. I didn't ask to fall into your life, he murmured. But here we are. My breath caught, not from fear, but because of the way he said it. I didn't pull away. He watched me carefully. Are you hungry? Mara can bring food. No, I whispered. Just tired. He nodded. Rest. I'll stay in the chair. I lay back on the bed slowly. The mattress was soft, swallowing me whole. Exhaustion dragged at my limbs. But before sleep claimed me, I felt the bed dip slightly. I opened my eyes. Dominic wasn't touching me. He wasn't even leaning close. He was just sitting on the edge, his back to me, head lowered, hands clasped together, as if he were praying. For what? For safety? For forgiveness? For redemption? I didn't know. But hearing his voice, barely a whisper, broke something inside me. I won't fail you, he murmured to himself. Not her. Not the baby. My chest tightened. I closed my eyes. For the first time all day, I fell asleep without fear, trying to claw at my throat. Not because I felt safe in the mansion, but because I felt safe with him. When I woke, it wasn't sunlight touching my face that stirred me, it was silence. A heavy, unnatural silence. Dominic's room was dim, its blackout shutters still down. The air was cool, the sheets soft, and for a split second I forgot where I was, forgot the danger, forgot the world. Until I turned my head. Dominic was sitting in the armchair by the window, still in the same position as last night, leaned forward, elbows on his knees, posture rigid. He looked like a statue carved from midnight, unmoving, unblinking, exhausted but refusing to sleep. Had he stayed there all night? A lump formed in my throat. Dominic? I whispered. His head snapped toward me instantly, instinct sharper than any guards. When he saw I was awake, something in his face softened. Morning, he said, voice low, rough with fatigue. Did you sleep? I asked. He shook his head once. Not important. It is, I whispered. You look drained. His lips curved slightly, something like humor, something like disbelief. You don't need to worry about me. But I did. God help me, I did. I sat up slowly, rubbing my eyes. What time is it? Almost noon. Noon. I blinked. I never sleep that late. You needed it. His tone held no room for argument. He wasn't being controlling. He was being protective, gentle in his own dangerous way. I glanced at the door. Any news? About the men who attacked us? His expression hardened. They were from the Valenti family. My breath hitched. Your enemies? One of many. And they want the baby? His jaw flexed. They want leverage. I pressed a hand to my stomach, nausea rising, not from pregnancy, but from terror. Dominic, my voice cracked. What if they don't stop? What if they come again? What if? He stood instantly and knelt in front of me, placing both hands on my knees, steady and grounding. Lena, Look at me. I did. His eyes, usually cold steel, were warm molten silver right then. No one is taking you, he said softly. And no one is touching our child. Not while I'm breathing. The certainty in his voice was terrifying and comforting and everything in between. A knock on the door broke the moment. Dom didn't move from in front of me, but his voice cut like a blade. What? The door opened just enough for Mara to slip in. Breakfast, Signora, she said kindly, setting a tray on the table. Fresh fruit, warm bread, eggs, herbal tea. Before she could leave, she hesitated. Boss, there's something else. Dominic stood slowly, rolling his shoulders as if preparing for a fight. Say it. A car was spotted near the back forest trail. No plates. It left before the guards reached it. The tension in the room sharpened. Show me the footage, Dominic ordered. Mara nodded and slipped out. The moment the door closed, Dominic swore under his breath. Italian, sharp, angry, guttural. My nerves shot up. Dom. He held up a hand. Eat. I'll be back. Wait. I grabbed his wrist without thinking. His eyes dropped to where my fingers wrapped around him. His pulse jumped beneath my touch. I don't like this, I whispered. You going out there alone, chasing danger. He stepped closer, lifting my hand and placing it gently against his chest. His heartbeat was steady, strong, unshakable. I'm not alone, he murmured. My men are with me. That doesn't make me feel better. Something flashed in his eyes, something almost tender. I will come back to you, he said quietly. My breath caught. Why does that sound like a promise you shouldn't make? Because I don't make promises I can't keep. He lifted my chin with 2 fingers, locked the door behind me, and don't open it for anyone but me. Then, before I could say another word, he pressed a soft, lingering kiss to my forehead. A second longer than last night. A little closer. A little more dangerous, and he was gone. The room felt colder without him. I wasn't hungry, but I forced down a few bites of fruit. My hand shook just enough to spill tea across the tray. I wiped it with trembling fingers. My stomach twisted, not from morning sickness, but from dread. I didn't want this life, this danger, this world, but I had no choice. Because of the baby, our baby, the ultrasound photo peeked out of my bag. I pulled it free, running a thumb over the faint shape. Is it always going to be like this? I whispered to the empty room. Running? Hiding? Fearing every shadow. I didn't expect an answer. I didn't expect the door to beep. I froze. Then, Lena? It's me, Dom's voice. I exhaled shakily and unlocked the door. He walked in, wind in his hair, tension in his shoulders, phone still in hand. But he was unharmed. He shut the door behind him, bolted it, turned to me, and before I could speak, he cupped my face in both hands and pulled me into his chest. My breath hitched. His scent hit me, warm cedar, spice, something dangerously comforting. His arms wrapped around me, firm and grounding. For a moment, for a long moment, I let myself melt into him. He didn't speak. He just held me, like he needed this as much as I did. When he finally pulled back, his fingers slid down my arms, lingering at my wrists. There was a tracker, he said quietly. My blood turned to ice. What? On your car? Probably placed this morning or last night. They watched you leave for the clinic. I swayed. Oh my God. His hands tightened. Hey, look at me. I did. This is exactly why you're here. Why I need you near me. Why you can't leave this room without a guard at your side. Fear pricked my throat. Dominic, how long will this last? Until they're gone, he said. Or dead. I swallowed. You mean? Yes. A terrible shiver ran down my spine. I don't want violence because of me, I whispered. He stepped closer, lowering his voice to something intimate and lethal. You don't cause violence. They do, by coming after my family. The word hit me like lightning. Family. He paced for a moment, jaw tight, mind racing. I'm tightening security. No one gets within a mile of the house. I sat down slowly, hands trembling. This is a nightmare. He knelt in front of me again. Lena. His hands cupped my cheeks. I met his eyes. You are not alone, he said quietly. You have me. My chest ached. Dominic, you don't even know me. I know enough. What does that even mean? He exhaled slowly, like he'd been holding this truth for longer than I realized. It means I haven't stopped thinking about you since the night we met, he whispered. It means you get under my skin in ways I can't explain. And it means that the moment I found out you were carrying my child, his thumb brushed my lip, soft and electric. I knew I would burn the world to protect you. I froze. He wasn't lying. He wasn't manipulating me. He wasn't playing a mafia game. He meant every word. Before I could respond, before I could breathe, before I could make sense of the fire spreading through my chest, a deafening alarm blared through the house. Red lights flashed across the walls. Dominic stiffened immediately. Stay behind me. What's happening? I cried. He grabbed his gun from the nightstand drawer. The perimeter was breached. My heart stopped. They're here, he growled. And then, he pulled me behind him as the house went to war.